All right, guys, welcome back to another podcast, Shackinprogress. I have a good friend of mine, Jentzen Kaniho. So, how do you pronounce Hawaii? Because I know it's Hawaiian.
Ooh, if we're going traditional,
Yes.
how about you?
Is it V?
Yeah.
Okay.
W's or V's.
Okay. I've been to Hawaii once, flying to the Philippines.
Yeah.
And they corrected me, and they're like, "Oh."
Man, I mean, honestly, bro, they're just nitpicking at that point, bro. No one
really?
says that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Every time anyone asks me where I'm from, I'm just like Hawaii, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is your family still over there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So mom and dad, sisters, they're all back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so you're the only one here?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Do you go back and forth every now and then?
Absolutely not, bro. No, hell no. That is expensive, bro.
True.
I'm I'm from there. I grew up there. Man, when I first moved here, it was about 10 years ago. Yeah, 2014, October 10. Oh, I'm sorry, October, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Bro, it was so cheap here.
Compared
Compared to Hawaii, bro.
Right, yeah. So I've heard.
Costco, you're looking at like a $400 trip. Here, it's like maybe 200.
You're right, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And was your family safe through all the fire and everything? Were they not around that? Or were they in that?
Oh, yeah. No, my family's on Oahu.
Oahu, okay.
Some of my extended family's on Maui, in Lahaina, actually.
Okay.
Not sure. But from what I hear from my grandmother, because she stays in contact with everyone, they're all good.
Okay. Good. I was doing my research last night on you, and I was like, oh, Hawaii, hopefully his family's good, and stuff like that came to mind.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, Jentzen, I've known you for a short time, but it feels like I've known you for a while through a mutual friend, Gombert, Mr. Gombert.
Yeah.
And you've been an enigma to me, right? I met you, super nice guy. And then you set up this event, and you're really giving in knowledge, and you really want to collaborate. You're passionate about getting people to get their brand out there. But I knew there's a little bit more to you, and I did my best to do some research on you. Okay. So I want to do a little back dive into, we started with Hawaii, right? Mm-hmm. I'm Filipino. I don't know if you know that. Filipino. So there's a little similarity, Pacific Islander, right? We have the same skin almost, skin tone, you know what I mean?
You got that melanin, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Melanin. Yes.
Sunscreen. What's
who needs that?
Yeah.
So I did a little investigating with people that may know you. Ooh. And I start with Mr. Chris. All right, so I have a few people. They've put a sentence together of who you are, right? And Chris gave me a little backstory that you were a personal trainer.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't find anything about this on social media. So talk to me about personal training. When did that start, and how did you transition out of that?
Oh man, when did it start? I'm thinking like fresh out of college.
Okay.
So I want to say it was like 2012-ish.
Okay.
Around there. Became a personal trainer. I was like, you know what? They look good. You know, I think I'd be all right. I'm like, and your job's not that hard.
Right,
you know
right.
I could do that. And I'm like, oh wow, there's actually a lot more to it. Did that. Started out at 24-hour fitness, bro. Like, I didn't have the credentials for it. I was like, I got to get my foot in the door somewhere. Started out as a front desk attendant at 24-hour fitness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, worked my way up, got in bed with some of the managers there, showed them, I'm like, dude, I can do this. Like, I'm worth more than just like scanning people in at the gym saying have a nice workout. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
I'm like, I just feel degraded. You know what I mean? And like,
that's fair. At least you respect yourself enough.
Yeah. And it's like, I tell everyone, I'm like, my wife's all about this too. It's like, I think genetically, just because I'm Polynesian, I'm competitive by nature. I'm just like, not in an arrogant way. I'm just like, if I know I deserve more, then I better prove to myself that I do deserve it. So I'm like, you better go do something. So it's like, way back when, and not many people know this, but like, I knew Alex Hormozy before the beard, before the juice.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like, when he did Gym Lunch.
Yeah.
So like, I followed him religiously way back when.
Wow.
Because he was doing all the gym stuff. So it's like, what's really cool about him is that he documented his journey. And I'm just like, yeah, man, when he was struggling, like sleeping on the gym floor, I was literally reading all his books, watching all his videos.
Before he was a somebody.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just like, look at him now and be like, man, I knew you when you were like 100 pounds lighter, soaking wet. But before the juice, you know what
right.
I'm just like, so I took a model after him. I'm like, it's the same thing. I'm like, if you want more, go get more. And you got to do anything possible to do it. And what I really did was picked up, went to the library, because that was a thing 10 years ago with the public
Yeah.
library. It's not just for drugs. It's,
Right.
go there to learn.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's free. Do that.
Right.
Anywho, I apologize. When I went there, I was just like, okay, cool. I'm going to learn about biology. I'm going to learn about kinesiology, um, anything about the body. I'm like, okay, cool. Now, how can I be different than everyone else? So everyone's like, oh, rah, rah, rah. Congratulations, you did 10 reps. I think, I don't know, personal trainers can't really count. They can't count. They can't count, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, but anyway, I digress. Did that. I'm like, how do I stand out? Oh, I need to emotionally and psychologically connect with people. I was like, I can do that. Like, I can crush it. And I'm not sure if there's still a database, but my first month as personal trainer at 24 Hour Fitness, I crushed like 120 sessions or something in my first month.
Wow.
I was like, that's like unheard of. And everyone's kind of salty about it. I'm just like, no, like I just wanted it more than you. That's really all that was. And I
The
felt,
drive.
yeah, I'm a very driven person by nature. Shout out to my dad for beating the crap out of me when I was a kid. But that's really what it was. And after that, I thought to myself, I'm like, man, my then girlfriend at the time got a job offer here in Mesa. She's a cheerleading coach.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I got to take that jump because there's no way I make it off this island on my own. And so that's what I did. So
How old were you when you made the jump?
22.
Okay. And then how long were you in fitness?
Want to say about 3 years.
Okay.
Personal trainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not short, but not long.
No.
It's just
I
good.
mean, long enough to know. And especially like this upcoming part, it was just like, you know what? I'm tired of working for everyone. Transferred from 24 Hour Fitness in Hawaii to the one up in North Scottsdale, which is now, I believe, self-made training facility.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right around the corner here.
Yeah. It's up
Yes.
here. Did that. And I was like, you know what? I got to leave. I'm not growing anymore. Ended up working at Mountainside. Because the manager at 24 at the time, he was like, bro, you got to get out of here.
Oh,
I was
no.
like, I ain't going to tell nobody you said that, but all right.
Right.
I went to Mountainside at Desert Ridge.
Okay.
Did that. I was like, you know what? Like, I can do this on my own. So I left. Failed miserably.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I thought I was the shit.
Oh, no. Did you have like a social media set up for this or?
Nope.
Gotcha.
I was just like, you know what? I don't know what I was thinking. Like, probably wasn't thinking at all, to be honest.
Right.
But I was like super into it. I was like, you know what? I got to make this work. I'm like, I committed to this. It's something I got to do. And what I understood or didn't understand at the time, which I understand now, is like life gets really freaking hard right before you level up. And I was like, that's where a lot of people quit.
Wow.
And I was just like, at that, I think I was like 23, 24 at the time. I was like, I can either be like everybody else and quit, go find another job, or I go all in and just do it. And so I did everything I could, learn marketing, learn sales, learn the psychology of sales. And from there, I got my first client within like 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was it. Her name was Christine. She's the most amazing person ever. Great mom. Ended up getting like 6 or 7 referrals just from her.
Because of her progress and like.
Yes.
Wow.
And she's a big talker. She's big in the community. And I had no idea. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do 2 things. If I don't do anything else, these 2 are non-negotiable. And number 1 was do a good job. And number 2 is make sure everybody knows about it.
Wow.
Make sure that I can provide a difference, not just a service, but be different and be unique and be me. Because that's the most important part, was just I was me. Because I don't think if I wasn't me, would she have ever referred anyone to me?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that kind of says everything that you do now, right? Like,
right.
Be unique. I listened to your podcast with, I've just had a brain for it. Justin?
Nick.
Is it? Nick, sorry.
Yeah.
Justin came from Nick. Sorry about that, Nick, if you're listening. But you said that over and over. It's like, how do you be unique in a sea of real estate agents, right? But that started for you back in just fitness.
Exactly.
The fitness world. So without social media, you were able to get clients.
Oh, yeah.
And how did you do that? Cold calling? Like, what was that thing?
It's actually really archaic, and it's actually kind of funny. So what I did was I went to One Stop Nutrition.
Oh, okay.
I knew the manager there. She was dating the manager at the time, or I'm sorry, the owner of that one at the time. And I was like, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. It's kind of like a last ditch effort, and there's going to be something in it for you at the end. So what I did was a raffle. And I was like, whoever buys this drink from you gets to put their name in this box. I made this box with the Lowe's. Got like a little box where you put raffles in. Cost me like $5. Did that, made a sign, printed it out, super ghetto, just like color print from a printer. I was like, hey, win a free session on me. This is what we're going to do. This is what you're going to get. If you don't even, sign up to work out with me, you're going to get something of value that you can take and implement within the next 30 days and see X results. I
Wow.
offer like some sort of guarantee with it.
Right.
Like, there's literally no risk to doing this.
Yeah.
Help a brother out is
Right.
what it was.
Right.
And what I did to like make it more enticing was like I folded like fake papers and like stuffed it.
Smart.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, people really want this. Like you gotta do
The
it.
demand is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh wow, this guy must be like good.
Right.
It's like other people are putting their name in. I'm like, yeah. And one lucky winner will be drawn every other week. And I'm gonna give you a call and I'm gonna say, hey, holy shit, like you won. Like I can't wait to meet you, blah blah blah. But actually I was calling everyone that
It
put
was
their
there.
name in.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you won.
Yeah. Smart.
I had like 30 something people.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And of the 30, let's just say 30, I want to say I closed 4 of them.
Wow.
So I literally spent $5.
Right.
And I got back, I think at the time it was like $2,500
That's
in
amazing.
new business. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I started doing that at scale. I was like, I think people are starting to catch on.
Right.
So I'm gonna cut that.
I see.
And then what I did was more of like a scarcity mindset.
Right.
I was like, hey, even though you didn't win, here's something we can do. I'm going to add you to my email list.
Okay.
And what I did there, no one at the time was doing email marketing.
It's new.
It was brand new.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone's doing flyers, postcards, letters. I'm like, no. I need to do something where people can just look at it on their phone, spend less than 5 minutes reading it, maybe 2 at the most, get enormous amounts of value from it, and feel like, one, they know me, and they feel like if they saw me on the street, they could approach me and be like, hey, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, yo, you want to go work out?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I kind of started. And two, it was just like, wow, like I feel like you're so smart, you're giving all the answers away for free.
Mm.
And that's a big business model for me right now is for every business that I have and anything that I ever bring up is I don't sell information, I sell implementation.
Mm.
So I make everything readily accessible, readily actionable for everybody.
Yeah. I've heard you talk about that, the event.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Makes sense.
Thank you.
It's like, oh my gosh, the guy with the beanie. He's a big business guy, New York. Everybody, Gary V.
Yeah.
Jab, hook.
Yeah.
Right. Give.
Something
like-
ask.
Yes. And you can see that in what you do. Right.
Yeah.
You're giving and giving and giving to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, like and when you ask, I'm ready to work with you.
Exactly, yeah. And that model definitely evolved as I went on to the point where it was, if I'm as good as I think or as good as I believe I am, if I stand by my product or service, then there should be no reason why people wouldn't want to ask me for it.
True.
So what I did was instead of going jab, jab, hook, I just went jab, 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 jab. I jabbed everyone. Just
Yeah.
doing it.
Picturing that jab.
Yeah, and I was like, got to the point where I mean, maybe 2 months in, people started reaching out like, "Hey, how can I work with you?" I mean, you don't do anything. You don't ask. You don't do anything else anymore. Are you full? I'm like, well, not necessarily. What are you looking for? And then from there we go.
I see.
Yeah.
I like that. So I found I was on Amazon and I see the nutrition initiative. And
Yeah.
I was like, is this him or is this another guy? Like, I don't see many names like yours around. So is this your book?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome.
I'm a published author, baby.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did this book come about? Obviously, the fitness world, right? Was it towards the tail end or while you're doing it?
It was towards the tail end of my fitness career. I was like, you know what? I need to take it a step further. Like, there's so much misinformation out there. But what I really need to do is just tell people and show people what worked for me and my clients at the time. Obviously, it's going to be super customizable. But I literally gave people the answer to how to lose weight, how to gain muscle while also losing fat at the same time, what actually really happens when you start to diet, like why you're not seeing results in X amount of days. I literally give away all the answers for that. And what I did was I was really into cooking at the time. And I was just like,
Looks good.
this is cool. I was like, man, I think girls like when dudes cook. And I was like, I'm going to do that.
Right.
I got no girls.
Oh my gosh.
I got a lot of dudes.
Right.
Ask me, hey, yo, hook
That's
it
funny.
up.
That's funny.
And I was just like, all right, cool. I was like, this will make me different. I literally gave people the formula, especially if you're an athlete. So it's geared more towards athletes because obviously, like I said, a lot of misinformation out there. Everyone kind of lying just to get more business in. I was like, you know what? I don't care about business at this point. I just care about being the go-to guy, the expert in this field. I want to be well known in that regard as someone who's honest and truthful and really does put the people before business and money.
Right.
And I'm like really proud to say that I think I did accomplish that towards the end of my career. And it's funny enough because like when I quit, I left. I had more people trying to inquire with me than I was in business.
Oh, wow.
It was wild. I'm just like, do I go back?
Yeah, right.
But at that time, at that moment, I was just like, man, if I go back, I would feel like I'm being stagnant.
Right.
I was
Right.
like, nah, like this was a great chapter in my life, but it's time to turn the page.
I love it. Okay, perfect. I
Yeah.
love that. So, I don't do great with the intros and what everybody I've brought on so far has some sort of business or some sort, right?
Yeah.
But I've tried doing a little bit of research. So obviously you started with fitness, and then we move into what I could see Accenture.
Oh yeah,
Is that right?
that's my baby.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about what you said you didn't want to be capped or you didn't want to stay stagnant, right?
Yeah.
So how did you fall into this business and what got it started?
It was actually when I decided to have a family. I was like, you know what? I see all these people, they're working, 40, 50 hours a week. They don't have time for their family. I was like, I really want to embrace the work from home vibe. Like, I don't mind going out networking and such like that. I was like, what if I pretty much taught people how to build a business that was like a copy paste of what I did? I was like, cool. Would they like that? Would they appreciate that? I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be very cookie cutter. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it super generic, super top of the funnel. And I'm going to be like, hey, this is how you do it. This is how this X, Y, Z. Essentially how Hormozy did it.
Okay.
Like how he breaks down the offers and the leads. Essentially, that's what I did around the time that $100 million offers came out.
Okay.
Which, yeah, which I'm pissed about because I really could have used that back then.
True. Right. Right.
But,
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. I think like failure is the best teacher anyway.
Agreed.
So let's go.
Okay.
Started doing that, and then I was like, you know what? Email marketing worked really well for personal training. Why don't I just do that at scale? Just keep it super generic, super broad, and see what we get. And of course, like people wanted to know because they're tired of obviously the misinformation. I was like, how do I stand out? Because I got to compete against this marketing company. I got to compete against this agency. I'm like, I'm going to do storytelling. I want to tell people my story. I'm going to be like, hey, I failed at this. This is what I did. This is what I did to fix it. And people really took to it. And I went on LinkedIn. LinkedIn was the gold mine for that. And I'm just like, hey, this is what I do. This is who I work with. This is what I'm really good at. This is what I suck at, which caught people completely off guard. But I am trying to get better at it. And with that, it started so many cold conversations that ended up getting a lot of business from it.
Wow.
And really, all it was literally never asking for the sale, just telling them what I learned, how I overcame it. And I was literally giving away the answers for free.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
just like,
I don't see you as this closer, like the guys out there hard closing, flexing their muscles. You're gonna buy this today. We're gonna do this, right? And you're. It doesn't feel like you're a salesman, but you are. Like obviously you're selling, but in a completely different way than most do, right? But are you at a point where you ask for the sale, or do they just end up? How do we work together?
a little bit of both.
Okay.
If it's a client that I really want, I'll push hard for it.
Okay.
But not in a super pushy, salesy way.
Right.
Mainly what I'll do is I'll obviously do competitor research prior, and I'll name drop competition, which obviously gives them sort of a kind of catches them off guard.
Yeah.
It's like, this business is doing this. I know that because I understand blah, blah, blah. I know this person on their marketing team. They're doing X, Y, Z. Why aren't you? I'm like, they started this 3 months ago. You all laughed at them, and now they're pulling in more revenue than you.
Oof.
And checking, because I do deep dive analytics, because I go in, I'm prepared. Because I go in with the mindset of like, either I'm going to close you as a new client, or you're going to close me on a reason why I shouldn't.
Oh, that's powerful.
Thank
Yeah. That's good.
you.
Someone's going to win.
Yeah.
Someone's going to lose.
And I'm never going to lose. That's like the mindset I have.
I like
Like, you cannot beat me at what I do.
it doesn't come off that way when you you know what I mean. I know you're a savage. I can tell. Like you're gonna do it. You're gonna make sure something's gonna work. And you're gonna make it happen. But you don't. You have such a personable vibe. Like you're so friendly, approachable person that you don't think that's gonna happen, right? I've been around a lot of sales guys, and some of them are just like this, cold and demeanor and forward and rough and tough, and they're closing millions of dollars of whatever, right? So it's always good to see a difference, if you're listening and you're watching a lot of these, even Harmozy, right? Sometimes can be a bit of that masculinity of a sales guy. Here's Jentzen. He's a perfect example of someone that's not a hard closer, but closes probably just as much or if not more than those guys out there.
Yeah, I think right now, as of year to date, including last year, I ran analytics because every quarter I do this like a previous quarter analytic review. I think we're at like 87% just for myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I never hard close. I just ultimately give them the choice. I'm
Right.
like, look, 3 months from now, you're gonna wish that you did this, and that's okay because maybe you'll find a different solution. And if that's the case, then I have many people that I can refer you to. But it's not going to be me.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, I'm like, I can give you the recipe, but the sauce isn't going to taste the same. I'm
I like that.
You need that chef's kiss, bro.
Right,
that
right.
personal touch.
Always.
Signed, sealed, delivered. That's my promise, baby.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, my wife and I eat pho all the time, right? And there's many different phos out here in the valley, but the one with the chef's kiss, the one that's cooking with the right recipe and the love,
Yep.
you feel it, you taste it, it's right there, right? It's the same thing with what you're adding in value. Okay, so I guess you said that you do a lot of deep diving and analytics, right? But again, you're a bit of an enigma. Like I can't find much more than what I can find on there. And I see that there's a purpose to it, right? And you're able to achieve what you've achieved without having this brand of a social media, like all these followers. And obviously you're teaching us and others how to build their own brand, right? So why not go all in on the Jentzen brand and do that? And then also, how did you achieve not doing a brand and get this far?
Well, I like that. It kind of goes back to this analogy. So if someone pulls up in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari and they get out, you look at the Lamborghini, right?
Yeah.
You look at the car.
Yeah.
If someone pulls up in a Rolls Royce, you don't look at the car. You look at who's driving the car.
Well, dang, that's so true.
Yeah. That was the main driver for the Ghost, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And what I learned from that was anyone now, anything is possible in today's world. You can make money online. You can do anything you want. So Lamborghinis aren't that special, in my opinion. I think maybe it's because I've been around people who wreck them and then just go buy another one the next day, which is kind of double-edged sword, but I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Right, yeah.
But do you know where Rolls Royce markets and advertises?
I mean, I feel like nowhere.
No.
Okay.
They take it to plane auctions, private plane auctions. They take a fleet of all their Rolls Royces and they take them to plane auctions. The reason for that is because those who can afford a plane can definitely afford a Rolls Royce. Now imagine this, right? You go to a plane auction. You have a couple million to spend on a plane. Right here at the airport, in fact.
It's true.
I've had events here like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but they don't tell you.
Yeah, I have no clue. Right? I would go if I was invited. So
100%. But they know that whoever's going to show up there has enough money to buy a plane. So if they can't get a plane, and this is from someone, I can't reveal who it was, it's an impulse buy, getting a Rolls Royce.
Wow.
You're butthurt because you couldn't get the G5. So you see a Spectre chilling. $600,000 seems like $6 at that point.
Genius.
Yeah.
That's genius.
So I took that model and I was like, you know what? No one really does care about social media. It's all clout chasing anyway, depending on the person. At least a lot of what I've seen. There's a lot of lies, a lot of scams. And I'm just like, you know what? My target audience isn't there. So how do I make sure that I'm known in the community and I'm trusted? I need to go to the places where they are. So I put myself in those uncomfortable positions where I knew I didn't fit in, but I knew one day I would grow into it.
Wow.
So I would go to the Global Ambassador at like 10 a.m. Guess what? Valet's got tons of Ferraris. They're all at the bar drinking whiskey, talking. Why not just insert myself there?
No way.
Yeah, and I think it's because of my personality. I get away with a lot.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
So like I can say something out of pocket, but it'll be like me saying it. Like Gombert could never. Gombert could
Right.
never say what I say.
Yeah. I can see the differences. Right.
Yeah, but I'm just like I'll go in with a bubbly smile, kind of laugh, already exuding a nice personality, and I mean I'm just being me at that point, and it opens the door. Like it really does. All you got to do is ask. Not every closed door is locked.
That's huge. That's true.
You
I
just
think you just broke limited my mindset in my brain.
yeah
You know what I mean? Like how many doors do I walk past? Don't even try.
yeah.
That's huge.
And you know what's easy? People who carjack, they literally open every car door. You're gonna let a carjacker out hustle you?
Oof. That's true.
Tell me how drug addicts on the street still find money for drugs.
That's true.
So laziness is just a choice.
That's true. So okay, so the huge to kind of unpack here. So you went to global ambassador,
Yeah.
and so I know we're kind of what was that? Was that for the Accenture business or okay?
Yep.
And you're looking for clients, like you're literally lead generating.
Essentially, not necessarily looking for clients, just expanding the network.
Okay. Okay, so you weren't looking to close somebody, but you were just trying to get around the people that might find your right clients.
Yep.
And you're essentially trying to fish in a pond where you know, like you're narrowing down your opportunity to just this, and all you have to do is just show up to this circle of people every single time, and you're going to find the money there. Got it.
And it's never going to be them that I close. They're going to refer me their friends and business partners.
Is there a terminology for that, like a secondhand close or something like that?
So I like to consider it a sponsor.
Mm,
So a sponsor, I don't know if you know, is someone who can vouch for you and say nice things about you and promote you in doors that you cannot open. So if someone's making, 9 figures, that's obviously a lot further ahead of my time currently. But if I befriended some of them and I showed them my value and my worth and how I was unique and I can actually make them money in a short amount of time or build equity in their company through doing what I do, don't you think they would tell their friends about me?
yeah, 100%.
And I never, ever ask them for their business, ever. And they get pissed about it. They get butthurt
What?
to the max.
Why?
Because they feel like I'm overlooking them as if they couldn't afford my services. So they get butthurt. So they're like jokingly like, why don't you ever ask me? I'm like, because it doesn't seem like you wanted it. You're too busy referring all your buddies to me. Are you upset because now they're making money? 9 months down the road? I'm like, that could have been you, but you don't take the opportunities.
Was that planned or was it just that's just how it happened?
Well, that was planned. 100% planned.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're in the long-term game. You're not in instant gratification. It's like it's a little bit long-term.
Yep. So I always play the long game, no matter what I'm doing. So a lot of people don't understand, and I'm sure we'll get into like the videography at some point. Is that you? Okay,
Yes.
we'll save it
Yep,
for
that's
later.
I'm going through all of them.
Okay, yeah, we'll save that one for later.
Okay.
There's a good reason, and only one person has been able to figure me out, and that was Gombert. He
Okay.
knew exactly what I was doing.
I see.
Yep.
Okay. Now I've got all these rabbit trails in my head and also little clues that I'm picking up on because again, it's I say it again, it's an enigma or you're an enigma online. It's not like Michael Gomber and other guests that I have. I can just do research right there, and then find out who they're associated with, who they're talking to, all through social media, right?
Yep.
With you, not much pops up, so it really got me intrigued last night, right? So I'm hearing about Accenture. I'm hearing about how your social networking, right? I know of guys that go to the high-end gyms here, even though they're paying more than probably what they want to, but they're literally doing it just to get around the people that have the money, right?
Yep.
Or the people that are trying to get connected to. So I see you take that to a whole other level. Like that's how you went all in on, right? Instead of going all in on social media, you went all in on getting around the right people.
Yeah.
And is that how it expanded for you, your network?
Exactly. And with that, I would give them like free audits. Like, hey, why don't we check this? I'm like, how good are you at this? Like, really? Like, you're here at 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. You must think you're pretty good. And I'll get in their head about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's not forget that you're in a suit and I'm in a hoodie and I'm sitting at the same bar that you are. That hits them a certain way. They're like, okay, maybe you do know. Either you're a bum or you do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true. It's true. It's one or the other.
Yeah. And I like to. This is what I did. This is a little trick that I did. Was it smart? Probably not. Because back then I was super poor. Like I grew up very, very poor. Um, like you would not believe how poor. Yeah. But I would fly first class. Oh yeah, I would find the money. I would spend the money. I would fly first class.
Wait a second. Literally, you would spend the ticket on the money that you probably shouldn't have been spending to hopefully get in connection with somebody, or you already were like you were gonna go travel with somebody that had money and you wanted to stay at that level, or were you just traveling to be around the people?
So I was one of those kids who I wanted to feel what it was like to feel important or to at least look important,
Hmm.
look like I have money. If I could, I felt like if I could feel that for one time, if I could do it, maybe it would change something in my life. It was amazing. Granted, it was inner island, so it was way back when I was living in Hawaii. I just island hopped. It was like a 30-minute flight.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, bro, you could have just paid the $100
Yeah.
for economy, and then what? No, you spent like $800 on first class at the time. I don't know what it is now.
Right.
I was like, I want a taste of it. I
Wow.
want to feel like how they look, and I did it. And I was like, I never want to fly economy again.
Wow.
And of course, the next time I forced myself to do it, I forced myself in economy. I was like, do you like how that feels? Do you like having everything and then having it taken away from you? Absolutely not. Like, this
Wow.
sucks.
Wow.
Am I grateful for the opportunities? Absolutely. But I feel like if I continue down this path, I'm like, I'm going to be like this forever. I was like, you know what? I made a change. I was like, I'd do it anytime. Anytime. I credit carded that. I should not have done that.
Right.
I
Right.
was credit carding first class. I was credit carding like everything that you could imagine because I wanted to feel like I could do anything. And then you see these people who actually do it and spend it like it's nothing. I was like, that's the level of achievement that I'm looking for.
I like
I
that.
was like, how do I do that? I was like, you can't just sell poor people, right? For lack of a better term.
Right.
The lower class isn't going to be able to purchase my services, mainly because their values are different than someone who's upper class.
True.
So these people that I'm meeting at all these events and like auctions and charity events, especially, they're a different level of value. So it's like, what problem do I solve for them? Like, oh, it's a money thing. You want to make more money in less time. You're already delegated to everyone else. What more could you want? I had to think about that.
So okay, so you first off, the plane is just insane, right? I see that you hit the same point every single time. More money, less amount of time. That's the biggest problem that these guys are facing, right? But is there a level of manifestation that you kind of follow, or I don't know if you believe in any of that, but it seems as if that was something leading you to do that, or was that just a natural thing? Like, you know what, I'm gonna fly first class.
It was really like a spontaneous thing. I was like, you look in the mirror one day, and that was me. I woke up in the morning, I looked in the mirror. I'm like, obviously Hawaii, we didn't have central air. Like literally, the windows were like the jealousy type.
Oh, okay,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, squeak something
Yes,
mom
yes.
we need WD-40.
Yes.
It's like one morning, I remember it clear as day. I woke up sweating because it's humid. I'm just like, fans blowing. I'm just like, I go to the bathroom, I go to the mirror. I'm just like, I fucking hate this. Like,
Wow.
do I really want to continue living like this? There has to be more. There has to be more out there for me. Everyone else can do it. Why can't I do it?
So what led to that? Because it's mindset, right? It's
Yeah.
it's believing. Maybe you're watching a movie and you see something you want to be like. So what got you to look in the mirror and say that to yourself?
It was just almost like a reflection, like quite literal, a reflection of looking at my parents. And I was just like, everyone tells me I look just like my dad. And I'm like, as much as I will deny it, I do look like my dad,
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Spitting image. I was just like, and I look like my dad, no disrespect, obviously, but I'm like, this can't be my life.
Mm.
Like, I can do more. And I was like, you know what? There was a lot of mistreatment in my childhood, which I've come to terms with and I've learned to appreciate every second of it because I'm like, that's what made me me.
Love it.
And I understand how to raise my family now, or at least what not to do.
Right.
Um, and I think that's definitely molded like the business as well, where it's like the smartest people really are the quietest in the room. So it's the loudest that are usually the opposite of that.
Right, right. Yeah.
We've all been in rooms like that.
Yes.
And that's essentially how I run my business as well.
So how old were you when you were looking in that mirror?
20, either 20 or 21.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember as I was working as a personal trainer, like I would catch the bus home. Like I didn't have a car. So I'd catch the bus. And by the time I get off work, certain buses stop running in certain areas because it's dangerous. So I would literally get off and have to walk 2 miles up like a little valley to get to our house. And then
Oh,
in the morning, I'm up way before the bus route starts. So I have to walk 2 miles down and then
oh,
catch the bus again. I'm just like, and I see everyone, and it pissed me off so much because I see people literally get in their cars, start it up, and go to work. I'm just like,
so you were seeing this, and instead of settling, and accepting the life that you're living, you were making this conscious decision inside, like, okay, like it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah.
And I'm pissed off that these guys are getting in the car. Like why not me?
exactly. And it's not a bad way, like not in a negative way, but it's like, why can't I?
Correct. Yes.
Like
Yeah.
the only person that's going to be preventing me from that is going to be me. If the day that I accepted that this was how it's going to be was the day that I failed.
Wow.
And I wouldn't let that happen.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So take me to a little bit of your childhood here. What did your mom and dad do for work? And
My mom was in and out of a bunch of jobs. And eventually, at least from what I can remember, she never had a job for majority of my childhood, I think. A little fuzzy on that. But my dad's a flight attendant. So I think he just made 37 years as a flight attendant.
wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh man, the perks are crazy.
He's seen the world.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So he flies internationally now.
Okay.
He does a lot of Japan flights and
That's so cool.
Every
Oh
now
yeah,
and then he'll book
Hawaii,
Phoenix.
Japan. So
oh,
it's pretty-
easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every now and then he'll book a Phoenix. He'll come. He'll chill. It was a really cool moment because I knew he was coming. It was for Christmas. He doesn't spend a lot of time with my family, which would be a great opportunity because we did a Christmas at the Princess.
Oh, cool.
This one hit home for me. Like I wasn't super emotional about it, but I was almost like sadly numb to it, unfortunately. And I think it was just like the relationship that my dad and I have together. So I pick him up from the hotel. He's like, "Hey, just got in. I'm ready. Like, let's go." I'm like, "Cool. I'm gonna pick you up right now." And I picked him up in the Rolls Royce Ghost.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
This is what killed me. Bro didn't know what the hell car that was. He was so confused. He didn't know how to like roll the window down.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm like, Dad, you got this one right here.
Oh no.
I'm like, oh, by the way, don't close the door. It'll close on its own. Right?
Oh, no.
I might just push that button.
Right.
And he's just like dumbfounded. And because he's never seen this side of me. So he has no idea really what I do or who I work with. I kept everything super secret and pretty much from everyone, which is kind of why
yeah,
why
exactly. Yes.
But we did that and we spent the day together and I took him to where we live, which is Optima. And of course he's mind blown because the version he knew of me was still that like immature douchebag kid, thought he ran the world, never knew about like all the humble issues that I've had to run into over the years that really shaped and developed me as who I am today. But it was just like a really cool moment, like at the end of the night when we finished up. And that's a whole other thing. It was like, dude, I told him, like, as we pulled up to the Princess, I'm like, hey, just so you know, people are going to treat you a little differently stepping out of this car. Just understand that it doesn't come from a good place. Like, this is, at the end of the day, this is Scottsdale.
Right.
People are just going to use you to climb the ladder and kick you off. So just be prepared for that. And of course, like, as soon as we pull up to the Princess, right at Valet, we literally had 3 dudes haul ass at us. They see the rolls pull up, they book it. I'm just like, there we go.
So that's very interesting. Again, one, that's so cool that your dad got to come in for Christmas. Amazing. Be with your family.
Yeah.
At the Princess, like perfect, right? Perfect time. But very interesting to me that you obviously, when people are trying to climb the ladder. Like there's a social intelligence to that, right? And sometimes people get to climb the ladder and then get blinded to the fact that other people trying to use them and they're enjoying this clout and everything they've got at that point, right? How do you I know you got the Rolls, you posted it for a bit, and then you told me that you decided to sell it. Is that right? So how do you keep yourself grounded amongst being able to get to where you're at?
Oh man, that's a solid question. And I don't know. It's just like understanding my worth and my value and what I bring to the table. I don't need to impress anybody. Um, I think the moment that I start to do that is the moment that I lose myself and I like me now.
Right.
um, I love the person that I've become. I love the businessman that I've become, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And the minute that that starts to slip, that's the moment that I know that I don't deserve to be in business servicing people anymore.
Wow.
That makes me no better than the next person trying to sell a course.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's powerful. I mean, I think this really ties up a lot of the lack of social media, right, clout that other people want and have, and the fact that you have almost none, and it's all just towards your business, really, not towards Jensen the person. There's no Rolexes that I see. There's no, luxurious trips to exotic places. Yeah, you posted the Rolls, and that was for a short moment of time, and then you ended up selling it because, for whatever. Well, actually, what is the reason? Why did you end up selling the Rolls?
So it's the same concept. Like they're cool to have, you know, but it's just like I don't need material things to tell me who I am. And like the Supra, I love the Supra. I'm like, bro, when I saw it, I'm like, nice BMW, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, my Tacoma right there, that's my dream car. That is my dream car, and I have it, and I'm happy.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, it's functional, it's safe. You need help moving? I got a truck
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah, you're the guy.
Keep it under 5 feet because it's
Yeah.
a 5 foot short bed.
Yes.
But I'm like, with that truck, like I've taken Gombert out. Like we can go take trips and go off roading. And that's like stuff that we can be in nature and like do stuff as friends and like anyone else. I'm
Sure.
like, I rather live for the experiences rather than just the clout. I'm like, clout's not going to get you anywhere.
Mm.
I'm like, sure, it's nice to have, but at the same time, it's like, are you just stroking your ego? Or are you looking for reassurance that you think you're the man? No. Some of the richest people I know look like they shop at Goodwill. Like
Right.
I know a billionaire. I'm like, bro, you need to get new shorts. Well, I can see things that I can't unsee.
So funny.
And he's like, I love these shorts. It's my favorite shorts.
Well, we can tell. Yeah.
I'm like, every time I see you, you're wearing them.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
cool. But I'm like, it really doesn't matter because like once you understand the concept that like money is fake and money doesn't matter and material things don't last, relationships last forever as long as you take care of it. I was like, that's the life I want. And I want to make sure that my kids can see that as well. I want
Makes
them
sense.
to see like, hey, dad carries himself this way. Maybe that's what I should do because I want to be that positive role model. Yeah.
So is that 21-year-old Jensen looking in the mirror still here?
No, he's grown up.
He's grown up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm 32 now. Just like, man, I see all these kids trying to like flex this, flex that. I'm like, it's hard to be upset because I'm like, man, I was there.
Right.
Like I wanted to feel like the man.
Right.
I'm like, at some point, you're just gonna grow up. Like you're gonna grow up and you're gonna have the same thing happen to you. You're gonna look back at the next generation and be like, man, I was there.
Yeah.
Now all I care about is can my car get me from point A to point B
Right.
safely. That's
It's
all
true.
it is.
It's true. So then tell us, since I know what exactly you're talking about. The Supra's great. I love it, but at the same time, now I realize I got this was like the highest I've ever gotten, and I'm like, oh, I kind of want something bigger now, and I don't care about what it looks like and sounds like, right? So the evolution of that point, what were some of the points in your life that got you to realize, like, okay, maybe I don't care about this cloud anymore? What are some of those talking points?
You know what? I think it was having a family. It
Mm.
was like, you can't put a car seat in a Lamborghini.
True.
It's like, it's kind of like a weird feeling because like my oldest kid, like we bicker, we butt heads every single day, but it doesn't mean like I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, man, everything is worth it. Like, this is who I'm supposed to be at this point in time. Could this change in a few years as they get older? Oh, 100%, sure. Then maybe we'll talk about, getting
Right.
something fun.
Yeah.
But then again, like anything else that I get that's fun, it's going to be for the wife.
I see. So this ties up the family man in you, right? And what you said, like how to actually raise a family for yourself, and that's your driving focus every single day. how does your kids perceive you, right, is important to you. And then also how do others perceive you outside of social media is
Right.
really important to you.
To an extent, because I know who I am and what I stand for, but it doesn't mean someone's going to perceive that same message, right? There's a difference between perspective and reality, and of course, the other two among that are theory and hypotheses. People may think that they know me, which is fine. Let them think. Only my close friends like you, Gomber, really know what I'm about, and that's really all that matters to me. Like whatever you heard about me, I'm just going to tell people it's probably true, or it's probably wrong. Don't
Right.
matter. You can choose whatever you want.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I know who I value the most, who I know has my back, and I hope it shows in how I carry myself every day.
I love that. So the entrepreneur that's coming up, and we'll get into Systemize here and then to where we're at now. Systemize, or before that, how can you help someone that's getting into business, or maybe they're at a 9 to 5, they want to get into sales, but they don't have the confidence, right? And you had the confidence to go to that, what is it, the nutrition owner shop and
Yeah.
ask to do that, right? Where did that confidence come from, and how can you help someone else get that confidence?
Well, the thing that I've learned is that confidence isn't something that you have; it's something that you create. And I believe if you want something bad enough, you're going to come to terms with yourself that it's either you do it and get a step closer to what you want, or you don't do it and you kind of go back and forth and have this mental struggle continually. And one thing that I learned from a mentor of mine, she said, money loves speed, right? And it's something that I really took to heart and it really hit home for me. And it was by the time that you think you're ready to do something, someone's already thought of the same idea, tried it a bunch of times, failed 3 times, and found a better way to do it.
Mm.
So every second that we waste not doing something is another second in somebody's pocket. When it in that aspect is money for them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Can you break it down into a personal life? Let's take business out of the picture, right?
Yeah.
How does one build confidence in themselves? Also, go to the gym, eat right,
Yeah.
right? Those are pretty obvious ones. But are there other things that Jensen did or still does today to keep that confidence outside of business and crushing it and closing business?
So like personal life,
Yeah,
I think it comes off as a little arrogant, right? But I don't mean it to. It's definitely where I currently live, and it's something that I've been struggling with personally. It's like, how much more can I do for myself to prove to my younger self that it is possible? I'm like, oh, should we be spending, over $100,000 a year in rent where we currently live? Probably not, right? But we do it because we want to make sure that we show ourselves and be a good role model for the kids. But you can do literally anything that you want. And I think once I figured that out, I'm just like, if I want to do this, all I got to do is pick up a book, read it, apply it, fail a bunch of times, fail forward,
Mm.
keep doing it, and I'm gonna succeed at it. Okay, it seems like a no-brainer right now. So I think it's always a reminder. It's like you really can do whatever the hell you want, and the only person that's gonna stop you is yourself.
true.
Unfortunately, the double-edged sword to that, right, is you got to do it.
Mm.
And you got to suck at it. You're not going to be good at it. When I picked up videography, I'm like, this looks super cool. And then they post it. I'm like, that's trash. Can you please take it down? I
Right.
want to redo it. They're like, no, we like it. But I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yes, yes.
But I'm just like, you got to start somewhere. Like, you're never going to be good. You're never going to be perfect either, no matter how many years you do it. Like, I've technically been in sales for about 12, 13 years now.
Right.
Am I the best at it? No. Am I good at it enough to where I can convince people that, hey, this is what you need and this is the problem that this, whatever solves?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, hey, but at the end of the day, I'm like, all I'm doing really as a salesperson is bridging the gap between the psychological and emotional standpoints.
That's
That's
very
all it
true.
is.
That's very true. So yeah, there's an ongoing thing with entrepreneurs and meeting with Michael and other business owners. It's like they don't think as much, they just do.
Yeah.
Right. And along those lines, I think that that's one step for most of these people listening. They're trying to get into sales or starting their business or in the middle of the things. Just do the thing that you probably know you should do, right, to get to the next step. So explain to me a little bit the transition from Accenture to Systemize, and I guess the differences between both, because I guess it feels like they're kind of along the same lines of the same business.
Yeah, I mean, the lines get kind of blurred, which is actually a really big problem for me when I started Systemize. I'm like, this is way too similar. Should I have just rolled this up under Accenture?
Right, right.
Should I never have even done this and just went with Accenture and started a new branch? But ultimately, the difference between Accenture and Systemize is Accenture is business marketing. So helping B2B, whatever industry you're in, B2B, sales and marketing, that's what we do.
Okay.
Pretty much getting the word out about your company. But I wanted to go a step further because there's a part of me on the inside that I'm super passionate about, more than videography, more than anything in the world. And that's why I knew I'm like, this is it. Systemize is it. So essentially what Systemize is we start, build, scale, automate using AI and implementing systems and processes into your business to either optimize it or scale it where it's at. So essentially our big goal is to take you from 7 to 8 figures or 8 figures to 9 figures in the shortest amount of time possible.
I see.
Hence, Systemize.
I see. Yeah, it's a beautiful name.
With a Y.
Yeah, I love that little touch. So Systemize is focused more on the back end of things, and then Accenture's like front end sales, branding type.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, there's going to be a point where, obviously it's just going to be Systemize.
Right.
That's my baby.
Okay. I see.
And that one I'm super passionate about because I'm a big systems guy. And I think we talked about that at the event.
Yep.
I asked a few people that were there. I'm like, hey, what do you think of when you hear my name? It's systems. Like, oh, you're the systems guy.
Yeah, I've got people that said that.
Yeah. I'm just like, perfect. I'm like, that's what I want to be. I want to be known for that. I don't want to be known for like anything else. I'm like, that's a systems guy. He can take your business to the next level. He can get you from, the $10,000 a month in revenue. He can get you to 100K in revenue just by tweaking your systems or scaling you in a more efficient manner.
If the revenue doesn't go up, would you still be as passionate in systemizing things? Like, let's take away the dollar amount. Are you truly passionate about just building systems?
I am, mainly because, and this is where a lot of, I guess you could call them my competition. This is where they kind of go wrong, is they only focus on the dollar, on the revenue. They don't focus on people.
Mm.
I recently had a call. We won't say who it is, because we're feuding. Here's the thing, right? Whenever you think about systems and processes, you think SOPs, right?
Yeah.
Standard operating procedures. Who do you think is managing and doing all of those? It's people.
Yeah.
It's not AI, it's people. So it's a people first business, right? I tell people your employees are the face and pace of your company. If you treat them well and you make sure that they're all taken care of, your company's going to grow. Literally from being nice to people. The thing with me and my main driver is, and I asked them this question, they couldn't answer it, which upset me because you're a multi-million-dollar company, almost to $1 billion. Yeah. I asked them, how can you ensure that a minimum wage worker is putting in as much, if not more effort than one of your board members? Understand that the board members are visionaries. If they were implementers, they wouldn't be board members.
Sure.
Right? So there's obviously a blockage. There's a gap between upper management, directors, and the people that actually make this happen. Right?
Right.
So I'm like, how can you do that? And of course they didn't know. I'm like, which pissed me off even more. I'm like, that's okay. Because that's one of the pain points that my Systemize is going to solve. Like dead face, like no blinking, no nothing. I'm like, this is what it's going to be. I'm literally going to target your ass. Target in Walmart, remember that?
Yeah.
Target, dude.
Yeah.
Literally sat in Walmart, wrote down everything that was wrong with Walmart, said I could do it better.
Genius.
Yeah. He's like, all right, now all the hobos going to Walmart. Now all the wealthy people going to Target.
It's true. Yeah.
You go to Walmart now, you got to get those special Oreos, man. That's the only place you can get them. And I got a shower after I get home. I'm like, washing my body. And my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I feel dirty.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, if I can alter the psyche of someone who makes minimum wage and have them feel a certain way in a way that is both beneficial to them and the company, imagine the output. Right. Jeff Bezos did a tour of his warehouse and he got stopped. Literally stopped him, dead stop. Warehouse worker said, hey, obviously, like, I know you're busy. And right there, Jeff Bezos cut him off. He's like, I'm never too busy. Right? What message immediately does that send off? Be like, wow, I feel valued.
Yeah.
And I think he was in packaging. He's like, hey, I just want, like, I want this to be like my last job. Like, I love it here. It's amazing. I think you're doing a great job.
Jeez.
He's like, I've been to a bunch of warehouses.
I've seen this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Bezos, like, didn't even walk away. He's like, stood there, had a conversation with him, shook his hand, looked him dead in the eye. How many owners and CEOs can do that with their company? Not many.
No.
No, because they're money driven, not people driven. So the main driver for Systemize is we're a people company first. We understand that by continuing education, building relationships, nurturing those relationships, I can get you to have a higher output than the next person.
I don't want to miss these two questions because there's so much there that you said. It's powerful, right? Apple comes to mind, right? They're very North Star facing. They have the North Star. They have a mantra. I was there. I drank the Kool-Aid. I worked there for years.
Right.
Kool-Aid, right? In respects to it, but that's why they're so powerful because they made me feel like this entry-level retail Apple guy. I feel like I was a part of the guys at the mothership doing all the deep work at the with fixing the iPhones and creating new ones. So is that what you're building a culture inside of these companies? You're finding the weak points where they don't have culture and you implement culture is what you're talking about?
Exactly. We revisit pretty much the business plan that never happened. Now, I'm not necessarily a big business plan guy. I've tried, failed a bunch. I've never finished a business plan. Or I think I did once, and I just did it just for the sake of doing it. It was like you're in high school. It's like, oh, time's almost up. You just write down random numbers. On your test. Like, that's essentially what I did.
Right.
And I never looked at it ever again.
Wow.
I was like, because I understood what the business really stood for. And that was like obviously a few values that obviously differ from business to business. But the one core value always stayed the same, and it's relationships. I'm like, why can't every other business run it like that? I'm like, if you really want to increase your revenue, increase company morale first.
That's huge. People miss that all the time. I don't think people understand. Again, only because of Apple do I really fully get what you're doing. Because at the very core of Apple, it's the people. It's like everything that you're brainwashed to understand that every person built is meant. It has a piece of what Apple is, right? One more question because I don't want to forget it. It's a good one for me. So, because I'm really curious. So, did you build a company first and skyrocket in millions of dollars and have a culture? And did you do all that first and figure it out? Or did you have a plan? You tried it with a small company and it worked and then started implementing it other places?
Ryan Serhant actually said it best. He said, no one knows what they're doing, but they just do it anyway. So really what I did was gas pedal down, pedal to the metal, do it, fail a bunch, literally don't look back. That's really what it was. Like
So you built your own
no
team.
try.
You had like your own culture you were building, and you took that model of what you did, and then started selling the model to other companies.
And then, we use it as like a brief template, but that template only accounts for about 5% of all of our implementation. We do everything, pretty much 95% of it, we do it from scratch, all according to that business and what they want out of it.
Oh, I see.
So it's literally, the systems could be replicable, but how we implement is very unique to us.
Right.
It's unique to me.
I see.
Yep.
It's tailor-made a bit.
Exactly. So, if I ever want to have an exit through Systemize and sell it, let's say to a private equity firm in New York, I couldn't because of the intellectual property issues. Because they can't take what I know, and that's going to be a big problem. Because if Systemize were to be sold, which I'm not opposed to, later on in the future, it'd be hard because I can guarantee it, there will be a revenue drop when I sell. Because I'm me and you can't replicate me.
Wow. That's powerful. To be able, obviously there's goods and bads to that that we're talking about, but to have that much confidence in that is huge. So take me back. I've been posting a little bit about AI and how I'm like a little bit against it and a little bit for it. And I'm really conflicted about AI, right? But it sounds like you're heavily implementing this in Systemize. So, but you're also all about people from what I'm hearing now, right? So how do you keep those two separate? Or are you marrying them in a way that's ethical, if I can say it?
Yeah. I think the best way to describe it is sort of like a marriage where you can't be 50-50. It has to be 100%, 100%. So there's obviously going to be more further education for each employee and each, division of the company and the hierarchy. But understanding first off that it's, for one, not going to replace you. It's there to assist and make your life easier. Remember the telephone game as a kid?
Yeah.
Very, it's like bananas are yellow, and at the very end, it was like some random like
Oranges are red.
I saw a dog kiss a cat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm like,
So true. Yeah, something way far off. Yeah.
and really, a lot of the downfall for a lot of companies isn't actually the productivity output; it's the communication that happens within it. So the only way that the biggest empires in the world toppled was because it blew up from the inside.
Mm.
Big Star Wars nerd, right? Death Star, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That blew up from the inside out. Same concept with businesses. If you gotta be really good at understanding process, but a lot of the time people aren't equipped with that knowledge and know-how. So by utilizing AI, we actually make it super simple. For example, I believe personally that 90% of all sales should be done by marketing. If you're sales at a larger company, all you have to do is pretend that you're a doctor and prescribe the right antidote or prescription that fits the bill, right? Like, oh, you have a headache? Here's some Advil. Like, that's all you got to do. Literally, the only way you screw that up is if you do something really bad
Yeah, yeah.
or you say something that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
So what we do is we eliminate that. So for example, someone has an inquiry on a website or they download like a lead magnet of some sort, which obviously Systemize does for you. Um, what happens from there is we use backend automation and AI to reach out, initiate welcome sequences, give them a call. The call was crazy because it sounds like a real person. I think we talked about it
Yes.
briefly
Yes.
to where like everyone does like the super robotic voice. And I'm just like, that sucks because it's not personable. What if I did this? What if I added a little bit of meh to it? So I dumbed it down, said we're going to use a lot of us, a lot of ums. That's okay. Like I say that sometimes in my calls if I forget like that. Yeah, I don't know. Like let me check. And we changed the pitch, we changed speed, and we did that. And no one knew it was AI. I'm just like, that's perfect. And the way we did it was by implementing it at birth. So essentially, I birthed this caller and I grew it. And I literally scrape everything from the internet daily. So it's right now, it's kind of working. So I took inspiration from Jarvis from Iron Man. I'm like, dude, it's just an animal,
Cool.
right? I'm just
That's
like,
cool.
that's cool. I'm like, yeah, Jarvis was like scraping the back end. Well, I'm like, I want to do that. I got to figure out how to do that. Literally learn how to do that, code everything, put it in. A lot of YouTube University, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's out there.
YouTube has all the answers, man. You gotta go get it. Did that. I was like, okay, this is very believable. I can have a conversation with them, and I can feed them my mind. Like this is my philosophy. This is what I believe. If you want ChatGPT to say something in a way that you want it to, you have to prompt it to do that. I'm
True.
like, well, that's what we're gonna do with this. Did that. It handles all outbound and inbound. Literally, companies don't even have to worry about picking up a phone. Only on the call that's for the closing. That's all it is.
Oh,
Or a
okay.
video call.
This is crazy. Okay, so obviously, I'm an outbound, managing outbound call centers with agents overseas,
Uh-huh.
right? But now there's a world of agents that are AI, right? And there's FCC rules coming out, changing a lot of things. So it's affecting all of us. But one thing also in Nick's podcast, you mentioned that it was still in its infancy age. I don't know when that was, but you said that the AI was like an infant still, and you had to turn down a little bit of sarcasm. It was a little bit more like sassy, I guess.
Yeah, it was very much me.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Okay.
well, I can't be too much of me.
Yeah. Okay.
Because at the same time, like you could still try to implement my personality, but you can't implement my expression.
Right.
And that's the big problem right now with AI phone calls is expression. I'm like, I don't know what your face looks like when you're talking.
Mm.
But if you and I talk on the phone, I could probably tell what it looks like. I can tell when you're being facetious or anything of that nature.
Right.
But with AI, you can't really do that right now.
Right.
That was the big problem.
Yeah. That's where that confliction
Yeah.
comes in. Is like it can't read between the lines. Is it going to be able to banter? Right.
Yeah.
Like you got to banter on the phone if you're cold calling. So how are you overcoming those challenges on outbound calls? Those read between the lines and the banter.
I want to say it strategically, but kind of learning as we go. Anytime we have some sort of confirmation, the AI will do it. Whenever a salesperson wants to reach out, they can reach out anytime. from that point, they can either turn it off or let it run. So it's really up to the user's discretion on how they want to do it. It's just an option, and it's just one more tool in the toolbox for people to use.
I was about to say it's just a tool. It's
Yeah.
still a tool,
Yeah.
and hopefully forever stays a tool.
Yeah.
Right? That's where this goes.
I'm
Like,
seeing a lot of Skynet type stuff.
okay, all right. I mean, you're in the world, right? And you, which is much respect to you. You learned how to code. You decided I got to learn this for myself. Dove into hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of content to even learn how to do it. So you're in the world. So what is your 5-year plan for AI, or where do you see it going in the next 5 years?
I think it's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and I'm really, I guess, excited and nervous at the same time that I've gotten into it at this early stage. I think it's going to grow exponentially. I think a lot of people are going to try to utilize it, but at least from what I'm saying, they're utilizing it incorrectly. But they want to. But I want to be like that main go-to resource. I want Systemize to be the go-to for AI systems and processes implementation. Be like, I can literally help you scale, not just by implementing systems and processes, but by working with your people, working with your employees, increasing that output, and actually getting to know you and be your friend.
I love that. I like that you're not kicking humans to the curb.
No.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of AI that I see is kicking humans to the curb. Like, hey, there's robots that are going to have AI software. They're going to take away jobs, right? And I think there's a lot of fear mongering in that.
Yeah.
But your business model is to have both work in harmony.
Yes.
And I think long term, maybe some people might go all in on AI in their companies, but they're going to find that humans still have the upper hand on some things.
Exactly.
And AI has upper hands on other things, and you're making that marriage.
Yep.
101%. Beautiful. Well, that ties in that now I know what you're doing, and I was like, oh, is this guy all AI, like destroy humans? You know what I mean? But I see now it's all a marriage for you, which is great. So I guess you've built and still are growing Systemize. You're still a part of it, and now you're in this world of videography, right? It's a very I heard you say that you liked videography, you liked the creation part of it, and it intrigued you and you liked it. So take me now, why transition is 1 foot in, Systemize 1 foot out, or where are you at with that?
So you want to know the secret about why I'm doing it?
Please.
And this is like, no one really...
This is a treat for you guys.
And no one really knows about this. So as soon as this goes out, that's going to be the announcement for it.
Okay.
Who was it? It was a big... Oh, it's Elon Musk, right? I take a lot of inspiration from Elon, just the way that he operates, but more so why he does it, right? So do you know why he bought Twitter and X? The real reason?
No, not the real reason. All the other clout reasons, yes, but not the real reason.
Yeah, the clout reasons are pretty easy, right? They're saying that, he bought it to bring back freedom of speech. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, that's not why he did it. He did it so he could funnel data into Neuralink. That's why he did it. So I wanted to do that. I want to do something of that nature, right? But I can't do it. I'm not a billionaire. I don't have the resources for that.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. The goal is to within the next 15 years, though, which is pretty solid.
That's awesome.
I can't do that. So I needed to do something that would, one, allow me to be creative and allow me to express my creativity, but also at the same time be able to analyze and essentially data mine other industries that I took interest in. So a lot of people that I work with, right, they don't make a ton of money, right? So of course my profit margins are relatively low as a videographer because I'm not going in for the kill. I'm going in for research. R&D, research and development, right?
Oh, I see.
So a lot of people who showed up to the event were realtors, right? You don't make a lot of money unless you're selling a lot of homes, right? And it's really difficult to be a realtor these days, so I hear. And of course, right there is a trigger for me. I mean, that's a pain point. How can Systemize further help others? Not just service the wealthy and the well-off companies. I want to service the bottom and help build them up to be in the upper echelon. Everyone deserves it. I told myself that I deserve to be at the top. I believe I'm on my way. Do I think I made it? No, but I'm getting there.
Right.
I was like, I want to take as many people as I can with me in multiple industries. I want Systemize to not just reach one demographic or industry. I want to do it all. I want it to be a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, how do I do that without illegally data mining people?
Yeah.
Elon?
Right.
I'm like, I need to go and I need to service these people and get to know them and nurture them and have them trust me, which obviously this is all coming from a really good place. And I love what I do. But I'm like, if these are your biggest pain points, I think I can help. I know I can help. This is what we're going to do. So, official announcement is using my systems processes with AI. I can create back-end everything for each industry that I'm working with currently. So, realtors, no more generic website on the MLS. It's going right to a personal branding page. Hence why at the event,
Yes.
when I gave everyone all the answers,
Yeah.
this is what you do, this is how you do it, this is how long it's going to take you. Within 1 week, I can have you up and running with a personal brand, as long as you're clear in your vision and your pillars. Give me another week, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks tops. I can have you set up in the back end with your very own website, everything AI, everything that knows everything about you. And I can have you literally doing outreach in your sleep, taking out the competition and making you the clear-cut choice in your industry no matter what you do. That's what Systemize is going to do.
So this is a Trojan horse,
Yep.
essentially, to real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, in Nick's podcast, I listened to it all, and you like lightly mentioned something of a software, something for real estate agents, but it wasn't like you exposed it all in what you're doing. So I see now, one, you had to still be passionate about what you're going to do, right? The Trojan horse still had to be enjoyable, because if not, you're going to hate everything you're doing.
Yep.
So you married the passion of videography, and now you're in the industry. So are your plans to niche down and stay in real estate, or you're going to figure that out and then move into the next industry?
I want to tackle one industry at a time, and I'm hoping to get at least 100 by the end of 2027.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like willy-nilly doing this. You're methodically thought out to the finish point.
Yep. So all of this, Systemize has been about 4 years in the making. Data mining, learning everything there is about each industry that I've taken interest in. Videography too. Now in the back end, I've bought courses from other people, not because I needed it. Granted, I do love to learn and I love to see different perspectives. But what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to make sure that Systemize is the only thing that anyone ever needs in their business, in any industry ever. So after I hit real estate for about like 3 months, I'm going to target maybe personal trainers because I work with quite a few right now.
Right.
I'm like, your income isn't going to be the highest, but that's okay. You can still use the software because it's very affordable. I'm working on volume. So there's no high ticket software or anything.
Right.
It's going to be, I want to make this very affordable for you because I'm more concerned about the long term. The more money that you make, the longer you're going to stay with the system.
So it sounds like, forgive me for interrupting you. It's just, I'm intrigued and I have these thoughts coming in. And Go High Level is a SaaS product, right? So you're building something that has encompassing CRM, all these tools into one with AI for all industries. So it's a really all-in-one solution that I have never heard of, right? We're still, even though Go High Level still exists, we're still zapping to other things, and I'm not perfectly knowledgeable about all this stuff, but I still know that Go High Level is good, but it's weak without other things.
Yeah.
And are you saying you're creating a solution where it's a standalone and doesn't need other zaps?
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yep. So currently right now I'm using Go High Level, but we have to use third-party apps like make.com, like Zapier, which is like, what was the entire purpose of having Go High Level if we have to use external software?
Right.
That makes no sense. So I see that as a pain point. I'm like, no one wants to do that. No one wants to pay extra money to send emails.
True.
Or text messages. So why would I do that? No, let's just make one thing. So super cool because by the end of this year we'll have our own standalone software, our own everything.
That's
It's
awesome.
gonna be ours, and we're gonna make it affordable for everyone.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I see the evolution of just systems and softwares always, right? It just keeps getting streamlined, more streamlined, more streamlined. But I see that you're taking it, you're trying to get ahead of what everyone else is doing, which is kind of what you've done in other industries, right? You're doing the research, you're doing the deep dives like you always do. So you're trying to get ahead of something that maybe only a handful of people are trying to achieve. How confident are you in your R&D now and when this is going to be released that you're so far ahead of everyone else that you're not going to worry about the competition?
When I think of competition, I don't think anyone really comes to mind.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Period. It answers that.
Of course, like, that you could take that however anyone wants to take that. But in my mind, I'm like, this has been a long time coming. This is what I was born to do. I wasn't born to copy everyone else, like drop shipping, e-commerce. Oh, just sell something that's already selling. I don't want to do that. I want to innovate. I want to be an innovator. I want to pave the way for the future generations. I don't consider myself an entrepreneur yet. Um, as an entrepreneur, I believe the definition is you provide opportunity for others
Hmm.
who weren't in a position to be able to do that
Right.
themselves, or they just didn't want to do it, but that's okay. But I want to pave the way for innovation. I want to change the way things are run in this world. And the only way that I can do that is just by doing the damn thing. And if it doesn't happen, then my kids will take it over. And that's the thing about being a leader. And it's very controversial. It's a big, very argumentative take. Is there's no such thing as a bad leader, just a leader bad for their time.
Mm.
And I truly believe that no one's going to see me as a leader until I'm gone.
Which is being a leader, in my opinion. Like, I don't think, I maybe people have different views of leaders, right? But leaders don't pose themselves as leaders, right?
No.
People end up following that person out of feelings and emotions and trust, right? And then when that person's gone is when they realize a lot of the times like what they're missing,
Mhm.
or the leadership in their life, right?
Yeah,
And you're that leader in this industry now.
trying to be.
Yep. Well, I can't think of anyone else. Maybe there are. There's more other secretive, not posting about it, about to release a big software, right?
Sure.
But it's really big, right? It's another shovel in the gold mine, the gold rush time, right? You're building another really high end built shovel that all they need is just this one shovel. You don't need any other tool but this one thing. And it sounds very intriguing. So when's this launch date? When is this going to come out, or are we still far out from it?
We're a lot closer than you think. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna
Okay.
go through preliminary testing in a few months. And once that's up and running, I have no I have no excuse not to succeed at it. The reason being is because in mid-May I'm taking this to Dubai, and
Oh, I heard you. Yeah, you
I'm
mentioned
going
to go. Wow.
all in on everything. I'm putting everything, bootstrap this entirely.
Wow.
No VC funding, no outside investors. This is all me. This is my baby. Like, I believe in it heavy. Um, and there's a couple more driving forces behind that, obviously on a more personal level. I was like, this is where it's got to go. Dubai is heavy and very innovative. They're forward, very forward society,
Sure.
to the point where they're saying like, oh, next house you buy in Dubai, make sure it has a landing pad for your taxi because they're gonna have flying taxis pretty soon. Yeah,
Holy
they're
moly.
testing it right now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
now like Dubai Hills, they're all putting one in. So they're
Wow.
putting in helipads.
One thing you said is really intriguing to me. Well, not intriguing. I think I respect you more. Is like most people don't get a chance to say, "This is my life's purpose," right? The Elons, the Steve Jobs, all these high tech not guru, but people that have huge companies, they all feel that same way. They all end up saying, "This is just my life's purpose," right? And I guess you must be thankful to be able to say that instead of being like lost in multiple industries and trying to find your way, whether you have money or not. You're probably so thankful to even feel that sense of purpose.
Yeah, and something like I guess something like kind of not so good happened recently this week, and it really made me realize like entrepreneurship really is about generational wealth. Like understanding that I'm gonna be gone one day, and I don't really I don't expect to sell the company. I want it to be a legacy. And I want my family, like my children, to be able to run that, be part of that legacy. I take a lot of inspiration and I get a lot of heat for it, but I take a lot of inspiration from the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Which, if people really did the research and they listened to how Elon, Bezos, and like Steve Jobs, did I say Bill Gates?
No, not yet.
Oh, Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Like literally listen to how they talk. They're literally quoting the Rockefeller methods.
Mm,
Everything they do is that, but they don't teach that in school.
no,
They actually used to, and then they took it away. Yeah.
know that.
And I usually tell people, I'm like, this world has too many thinkers in it, but not enough implementers.
Mm.
Like if we acted upon what we thought, I think as a society we'd be so far ahead.
True.
But it's that fear, right? We talked about confidence, right? It's
Yeah.
that fear of failure. And I think you just have to be super mundane to it. You just have to do it a bunch and you kind of get soft, like, or get harder about it. I like cold calling, right? You, 5,000 no's, but then the next one's a yes,
Yeah.
right? And then you feel better, and then you get better, and then you have a bit higher confidence level.
True.
And like one thing I really want to, after the systemized thing launches, and what I really want to do is I want to provide some sort of community or opportunity for people to feel like they're winning every single day, because you never get tired when you're winning,
Very
right?
true.
Like if anyone, like, you play sports and like you play basketball, for example, you're sinking threes left and right, and you're booking it up and down that full court. You are not gassed.
Yeah.
You feel pretty damn good.
Yeah. Michael Jordan would say the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, dude's hitting everything.
Yeah.
He is like 5 for 5 from the paint right now. He's not tired.
Yeah.
You're not pulling me out, coach, because I'm feeling good. I hope to one day be able to provide that sort of opportunity for people. How that's going to be or what it's going to be, I'm not sure yet. But that'll be like the next big project, to where it's like, I think we're so used to losing, and myself included, that it just wears and tears us.
Mm.
Like we get sick, we get unmotivated, where the discipline starts to go down. But I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, like if I can do it, like you could do it. As cliche as that sounds,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I tell people all the time, I'm not smart. Like I'm so dumb that I'm not smart enough to know when to quit. I should have quit a long time ago,
I
but
see.
I didn't,
Yeah.
because I didn't know any better.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the commonality in quote unquote successful people, right? Whether they're financially successful or not, whether it's a sports guru or a sports person. I keep saying guru for some reason, but successful sports player, the money comes no matter what. But if you're motivated and you just don't quit, that's the driving force to the success that people want, right? So what could you say? I'll start get landing is here. What could you say to the person listening that's the thinking too much, right? And I know it's going to be just do, right? But what can you give that person outside of just do? Are there thoughts that maybe they can start thinking about their lives that they can say, okay, he told me to start thinking about this, so this will make me do.
I think everyone has a long-term goal, but I think just having a long-term goal is more detrimental to your success than people realize.
Mm.
It's okay to have that long-term goal. Break it down from there, from an annual goal, let's say. Break it down to a quarterly goal. From a quarterly, break it down to monthly. From monthly, break it down to weekly and daily. All you have to do is one little baby step thing at a time, every single day. What is it? Like, it takes 21 days to create a habit, right? 21 days. And it kind of ties back to a personal story of mine and a mentor of mine. I wanted to quit every day. There's not a day in my life where I don't want to quit, right?
Mm.
That's just the nature of this. And another quote on that matter is, heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Mm.
Everyone wants to sit on the throne until it's time to sit on the throne and make the big boy decisions or big girl decisions. It's not as fun as like Luke Belmar makes it to be, right?
Right.
It's not awesome. 99% of the job or your life is literally at a desk. 1% of the time, that's what they show you.
Mm.
But going back to this quote, it was, I wanted to quit. She said, just try one more day. I was like, what? I was like, I want to quit now. She's like, no, just try one more day. I was like, okay. Sleep on it, wake up the next day, finish the day, get on a call. She's like, how'd it go? I was like, I still want to quit. She's like, okay, just try one more day. Yeah, you just gotta see what
Yeah,
this is going, right?
yeah.
And then I do it, and third day comes, same thing. I want to quit. Good. Fourth day comes. I say it wasn't that bad. Of course, I'm like butthurt because she's probably right.
Yeah.
I'm like, it wasn't bad. I did it. She's like, oh, okay, smart ass. Go ahead, one more day. I'm like, do one more day. She's like, how was it? I'm like, it was solid. I had a solid day. She's like, you still want to quit? I'm like, well, maybe I can hang on for a little while longer.
Mm.
She's like, that's all you have to do is take it day by day. A lot of what you see and a lot of what you consume, which is a big reason why I'm not so big on social media and the internet in general, is comparison is the thief of joy. And I see a lot of people at a way much higher level than I am, and I get so upset at myself. But I let that kind of take over mentally, which is like the wrong thing to do. Like, dude, you're not where you were yesterday. You're a
Right.
better person than you were the day before, and you just keep getting better. You just need to focus on yourself and take it day by day. And really, what I can say, and it's a big piece of advice to help me, was stay small enough, long enough, and you'll be big enough soon enough.
Oh wow, I like that.
Like if you can't sacrifice 1 year of lavish things and materialistic things, then you don't deserve to have the life that you think you deserve.
Mm,
So just take it day by day. Start small, live below your means for a few months, and see just how far you can go.
I love that.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. I love that. Thank you. Okay, well, there's a lot in this. I want to keep going, but I want to respect your time, and I'm sure this won't be the last, hopefully, of the
No.
podcast, right? But there are a few gentlemen that had some nice things to say about you, and I wanted to make sure I read them off to you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so Chris Reggie, from starting out as a personal trainer to becoming an incredibly successful entrepreneur, Jentzen's journey is nothing short of inspiring. He is one of those rare individuals who take on seemingly impossible challenges and conquers them with remarkable mastery. That's Chris. You know, I know I just read a few sentences, but there's a lot there, right?
Yeah.
And he speaks pretty highly of you. And again, you know, in much respect to you, it doesn't come off as, you don't come off as this business guru. And I see now why Elon is one of your inspirations, right? Because Elon isn't that guy. He isn't that like business minded, like I'm gonna crush it here and there, even though he does.
Right.
He just doesn't have that persona, right? So I'm getting a lot from that. So Gombert, someone you can call for advice and also tell you a left field joke.
Yeah.
So is that what happens with you guys? He just gives you a call and just cracks a joke?
Oh my god, dude, we'll randomly FaceTime. Like he'll literally be on the toilet FaceTime. Like, bro, what are you doing?
So
I'm like, call me after. He's like, no, I'm gonna forget if I don't call you right now. I'm like, right, what? I'm like holding the phone like this. I'm like, what do you want?
that's good.
But it's like anytime, like honestly, like he's 100% right. I'm like, anytime you need anything, you can give me a call. I'm gonna pick up. And if I don't pick up, it's because I'm in a meeting. But I'm gonna call you right back right after.
Right.
I mean, that just means a lot, dude. Like, I always want to make that a priority this week. I just want to be there for everyone as best as I can. And it's just super, it makes me feel really good that I can provide that opportunity for people and be that resource. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you and Michael still share that. So you guys want to give and be that shining light for people. So I love that. I have one more person, Cole. He says he hasn't known you too long, but he still has a good idea of who he is or who you are to him. I've only known him for a couple months, but I would say he has a positive attitude and is willing to do whatever it takes to get things done. Right. So I want to say to you, and maybe you struggle with this or not, but you know, you are achieving, you know, what you want to put out, and people are seeing what you're doing, right? And I think out of everything and everyone, maybe I'm wrong, but you're probably an amazing dad. You are an amazing dad. And, you know, if these men and probably other women out there and men and women in business and life see this of you, I'm sure your family and your kids see the same. And they say, Dad is that guy. Like, he's cool. You know, he works hard. He's going to make sure anything's going to be, if he puts his mind to it, he's going to get done. And I can do that too, right? Is that something you consciously think about, or is that not?
For the most part, I try not to think about it too much. I mean, because I feel like I get a little bit of guilt. I think what a lot of people don't talk about in this game of entrepreneurship is the sacrifices that you have to make. Not to get too personal, right? But my wife, every time she puts the girls down for bed, they do this thing that's called thankful, and they always start it off. They're like, "Oh, Daddy's not going to be here right now, but he's building a life for us to like, so we can be happy."
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, do I want to sacrifice now for a better life later, or do I want to make the choice to live in the moment now, but not be so sure of where we are in the future?
Mm.
And I think what influenced my decision to do this and just go in on business was because I think as a kid, like I was very confused as to like why my parents were never there. They're supposedly going to go through a divorce. That never happened. And I was island hopping because separation. It's kind of like a Hawaii thing. You go to the other island.
That's funny.
Probably foreign for a lot of people here.
Yeah.
But it's like, cool, my dad had to work, right? He was working 24/7, still works the same amount of hours that he did, 37 years ago when he first started. As a kid, you don't really understand why he's doing it. But I don't think my dad's other half was as supportive as my wife is. So she's been like the biggest driver for a lot of my success, even though I don't see a lot of success myself. Obviously, she reinforces that. My biggest
awesome.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
But she makes sure that the girls know, like, everything that I'm doing, Daddy's not here right now because Daddy's going to do this for you. And one day you are going to take over this company, and you're going to continue making the world a better place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really meaningful.
Yeah.
And I'm cheering you on. And I'm sure everybody in this podcast are cheering you on. So thank you for sharing that. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I have the rapid fire round of questions.
Ooh,
all right.
Let's go.
And I just want you to answer the questions, not thinking much. It's this or that, and see what happens.
All right.
All right. Here we go. We've got pizza or spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Oh, okay. I think you're the first one to say that.
Yeah.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Okay, most do. Are you a walk on the beach type of guy or an early morning hike?
Walk on the beach.
Oh, okay. All right. The fitness side doesn't really take you to the hike thing, or you like the beach just like calm and like thinking?
Man, you can take the boy out the island, but can't take the island out.
Oh, that's so true. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Forgot about that. That makes sense. Okay, so would you take $1 million up front once, or would you take $15,000 a month for the rest of your life?
$15,000 a month.
Okay, and why is that?
Because it sounds kind of bad. I know that with just 5,000, I can make $1 million.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's really like profound.
Yeah.
Okay,
I could,
yeah. So most people think I want the million so that I can make more millions.
I want the lessons along the way.
I see. Let's save that for the next one because we're gonna go. Yeah, we'll dive into the whole thing. Okay, so football or basketball?
Basketball.
You mentioned basketball a few times.
See, I went off and like thought about like professional stuff. I'd say for me, basketball.
Basketball?
Recreational, I love it.
Okay, cool. Stocks or crypto?
Ooh,
Oh, I thought you were gonna know this one pretty easy.
stocks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Won't ask any more about that. This one I think I know: Lamborghini or Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Okay, every single person that's been on has said Ferrari. Why is Ferrari for you?
I think Ferrari just has it right in comparison to Lamborghini. Lamborghini really lost their touch. Like the Revolto, get out of here, bro. No one wants to.
Everybody loves it.
No
Like
one
you
wants
see
an
everyone.
electric Lamborghini.
That's so true. Right, a hybrid. Yeah.
Yeah. If I want that, I'm gonna go get a Lexus.
I see. So you're in the true gasoline all the way through and through with Ferrari.
100%. Ferrari Pirsagwe coming out
Okay.
in 2027.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then the last question. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one, dude. I don't think I've ever really thought about that. You're taking me back to my childhood.
Michael knew. He was like, I'm gonna fly. You know?
Of course he wants to fly. Everyone wants to fly.
Yeah.
Ooh, telekinesis.
Telekinesis. Why that?
I want to like mess with people. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
I want to like go to like someone's house and be like, drop a book. Like, dude, I think your house is haunted. Yeah.
I see. It's more mischievous than trying to use it for power or something like
Dude,
that.
I can tell you right now, like, I will not be a superhero. I will be more of an anti-hero.
Okay. I like that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, is there anything that you would like to tell the audience before we jump off this podcast? Shackinprogress is the people that are trying to get to where they need to be.
Ooh, trying to get to where you want to be. I'm not a big journaling guy, but I do believe that you have to have one thing written down somewhere that you can reference. Doesn't have to be in sight, but you just have to understand where it is. And in times of uncertainty and you want to quit, go and find this, whether it's like on a whiteboard, on a piece of paper that you keep very safe, is write down your why you're doing what you're doing. And don't just do that. Ask yourself why 3 times in. So we're going deep, right? Why? Because I don't want to work at this job anymore. Why? Because I want financial freedom. Why? Because I want to travel the world. Why? Because I want to spend more time with my children and let them know that they can do anything in the world that they want, and they can do it from anywhere in the world. That's a deeper why.
Wow.
Understanding that that's the real reason why you do what you do, and the real reason why you wake up in the morning is to provide that, then nothing in the world is ever going to stop you from doing that.
And most people don't know, like their first why is really surface level and don't know to keep going deeper. I just learned this right now because I from what you just said, I gotta ask my whys 3 times, right? But that's really powerful. I actually didn't know I do this, but I email myself randomly every few months, just try to talk to myself.
Nice.
And I'll find that email years later, and it'll help me get back to where I need to be.
Yeah.
Is that kind of essentially what you're saying?
Essentially, yeah. In times of uncertainty, some people have material things that they look at and it signifies something for them. For me, what I've learned is just like ingrained in my brain at this point. So, but starting out, I wish I knew that. I wish I knew to do why 3 times. So
it's great. That's a great gem to give everybody.
Yeah.
Well, Jentzen, thank you for your time. I appreciate it, man. This was great.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me, dude. I want to do this more often.
Yeah, same, man.
I could talk for days, bro.
No, I know. There's a lot to
Yeah.
We could have gone more, but I want to respect your time and everybody else listening. I'm sure they can listen more, but I think it's a great appetizer to what can come in the future, right? And you said maybe Michael can be on one, or we could be at the 3 podcasts and talk about business life. So.
Yeah, the 3 amigos, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Shaq.
Thank you.